And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from the Hero 20, who asked the question, who will win a fight? Byakuya Kuchiki from Bleach, captain of Squad 6, and the older adopted brother, Rukia Kuchiki, and Vergil from Devil May Cry. Now, any character from Bleach, just about any character from Bleach, I can do in my sleep. I liked Bleach more than I liked Naruto. That's how much I know about Bleach. And I know a lot about Naruto, too. I very much enjoyed Naruto for what it was. But no, if you were to ask me what I know more on, I know more of Bleach than I do Naruto, and that's saying a lot. So I know a lot about Byakuya. I can do him no problem. Vergil, I actually never played a Devil May Cry game. I think I played, like, as Dante in Marvel Alliance Ultimate, but I've never actually played a Devil May Cry game. But I do know enough about them, plus I have his actual information right in front of me. And he's a half demon. Him and Dante are half demons. Their father was a demon, their mother was a human. He's kind of an anti-hero slash antagonist, depending on which game you're doing. He has all the superhuman abilities that Dante has, if not greater in certain aspects, including enhanced strength, which allows him to overpower a sword lock with Dante, who is just as strong, if not maybe a little stronger. If he's assuming he's comparable to Dante in terms of strength, he can easily block giant demons as well in terms of their physical strength. Speed, he and Dante are faster than the eye can see. Him and Dante, at one point, just in their training, created a vacuum. They showed this in the Dante versus Bayonetta fight, and I think in the Vergil versus Sephiroth fight. Were moving their swords so fast they create a minor cone of air during a massive rainstorm where there was no water droplets at all. So he's insanely fast and has great reflexes and agility to go with that. He's highly durable, taking a lot of damage. He also has enhanced endurance. He has an accelerating healing factor, which basically says he can heal instantly as soon as whenever what the hell? Vergil can heal instantly as soon as whenever I'm guessing it's supposed to say when he is injured. As soon as whatever is injuring him has been removed from his body. It's strong. He is strong enough that he can come out unscathed from a strike from the rebellion that would have otherwise bisected him. The healing, which means essentially what happened was he got sliced through with a sword and immediately healed from that. Like literally as the sword was going through his body, he was healing from it. Even Wolverine's not that good. And usually like one of the gold standard characters that use a healing factor for. The healing factor cannot be weakened. Even when he's physically exhausted, his healing factor does work. That's not to say he can't be, his healing factor probably can't be overtaxed. It just, you'd have to use a really impressive ability to take him out. Something that would probably incinerate him, destroy him, all that. Teleportation abilities, he has that as well. Double trigger, which turns him into his double form, enhancing all of his abilities. Demonic energy manipulation, basically kind of like how Byakuya would use spirit energy. Master swordsman, hand-to-hand combat, summoning swords. His main sword that he's well known for is Yamato, which forged in darkness and is capable of cutting through dimensions. On certain levels. Death Battle kind of did show, and Death Battle's not always right, I admit that, but they're pretty good on the facts. Usually. Or at least on the research. So he needs to really focus for that. Beowulf, which is a set of gauntlets and greaves with the power of light that he just has. And Force Edge, that's something he doesn't have anymore. It was a short time kind of thing. But ultimately, he is extremely powerful. And that being said, if we're going with Neo and Angelo, Vergil receives a new enhancement. He was being corrupted by a character known as Mundus, but we're not going to use that because you didn't ask for a corrupted Dante. You just asked for Dante. He becomes stronger, essentially, and his arsenal does increase a bit. But yes, Dante is a very powerful individual. Byakuya Kuchiki is the Squad 6 captain. He is insanely powerful, and he's a fan favorite by a lot of people. He's a lot of people's male waifu, whatever the male equivalent of a waifu would be. He's a master swordsman, a highly proficient swordsman. He knows all the fundamentals of the, of Shinigami. He knows hand-to-hand combat, although we rarely see him utilize it. It's very rare that he actually has to get into a fist fight of any kind. Or a martial arts fight. But I have to believe he does have knowledge of it. It's just that it's not his bread and butter. If there's any of the three that he's the weakest in, it's probably hand-to-hand combat. But his Shimpo abilities, which is their super speed technique, is so great that he can pretty much make after images of himself and like it's nothing. I think like his limit was like 7, and he's not even the fastest captain. Soifone is arguably the fastest captain in terms of pure speed. But one of his biggest skills is his knowledge of Keto, which is essentially their equivalent of magic in the Bleach world. You use energy and you fire effects and attacks. And Byakuya is extremely powerful in Keto. He's a Keto master, pretty much. Not quite the same level as someone like Aizen or Uehara is. Uehara probably is the strongest Keto user in the entire series. If you were to ask me who I think is, it's probably Uehara. But Byakuya is probably easily in the top 10, maybe in the top 5 Keto users in the series. Probably in the lower top, because you'd have Aizen, you'd have Uehara, so they'd be in the top 2 more than likely. You'd probably have Hachi, he'd probably be in there. Rukia could be in there, but anything she can do, Byakuya can do better. That's the thing. So I might put him in the number 4 slot. Fighting for 3 or 4. I digress, though. So Keto can range from offensive, which Byakuya can use God knows how many, like lightning, fire, wind. Binding, the defensive, defensive, which is Bakudo. One of my favorite ones he used, which I kind of parlayed it into some of the Naruto what ifs, is Byakurai, which is the pale lightning, which is basically just shoots a concentrated beam of electric reishi from energy from his hands. It's just like and just blow a hole straight through you. Not a big hole, mind you, but a hole nonetheless. So, but yeah, he can use a technique that pretty much blocks everything. He can use a lot of techniques, but that's not all he has. He also has a Zanpakuto, which in the world of Bleach, a Zanpakuto is a sword that you impart a bit of your soul into. It gains a name, it gains abilities, and it's a reflection pretty much of you. And Byakuya's is known as Zenbo Zakura, which pretty much scatters into 1,000 blades that shine with a pink hue like cherry blossoms. But they're blades, and he can control them. He can control them as he wishes, mentally. And, they can attack omnidirectionally. They can move faster than the eye can see. It's a very dangerous technique to try to attack with, or try to go against. And then his Bankai, which is the second release state, is pretty much 1,000,000 blades, and it's pretty much a tsunami of blades and death. And he has several techniques within this form, including Senkei, which hardens all the 1,000,000 blades into 1,000 blades, so that he can, manipulate things along those lines. He has one where he has a technique within that technique, which all the blades attack like omnidirectionally simultaneously for like instantaneous destruction. And then what was the crap? Senkei? What? I can't remember what the name of the technique was called. Hold on one second. Byakuya Kuchiki. What was the name of that technique? Byakuya. Alright, what was the name of that technique? Going to the wiki. Wiki for all your wiki needs. When you have some trouble, need some, just quick information for a class, go to Wikipedia. But no, obviously the Bleach wiki is going to be far more helpful. So the technique was known as Shunkei Hakuteken, or Escape, or Endscape White Imperial Sword. Essentially, he condenses each and every one of the blades into a single potent sword, drastically increasing his cutting power. It takes the form of like an aura and wings around him. It's pretty much his final attack, though. He's also quite durable, can take quite a few hits, and he has a lot of energy to him. So if these two met in a fight, what would happen? Vergil would probably be the one who initiates the attack. In terms of speed, I think Byakuya is faster, but Vergil has teleportation, so they're probably comparable overall in terms of evasive capabilities. In terms of swordsmanship, I will also say they're probably comparable. So the fight's going to go, go back and forth for a little bit. But Byakuya, sensing that this guy is demonic, you don't really see demons much in Bleach. You see evil spirits known as hollows, but you don't see demons. Or it's implied, I guess, the hollows are demons. I don't know. They never say that. Byakuya, though, would start to pull out other things such as Keto, which I think would hinder Vergil to an extent. Like, Hado wouldn't, offensive Keto, wouldn't really injure him do any lasting damage. Essentially, it would it would hurt like pale lighting, boom, and then he just heal up. But he Bakuto, which is defensive or binding spells as well. That could be a problem, particularly binding spell. Why am I having trouble talking lately? Seriously, I'm actually starting to get a little concerned that something's wrong with my speech, like I'm devolving here. Anyway, binding spells particularly would be an issue for Vergil to deal with. Because whereas on a defensive spell, he might be able to power through it eventually, a binding spell is something he has to power through in a different manner. Let's say Byakuya has a shield type Keto up, and Vergil has his sword or an attack or whatever it comes through. He has to power through that. But if he's bound by a technique, he's now immobilized to a certain extent or a complete extent, and therefore he has to power through and try to remobilize himself, I guess. He has to try to move again, while Byakuya can still attack him. So Byakuya would probably use a high-ranking binding spell. Vergil would be caught for a little bit. Byakuya then goes, scatter, Zenbone Sakura. And then, the blades come, and Vergil does get out of there, teleports, like, that the best you go. And, he stabs right through Byakuya, who disappears as an afterimage. Hardly. And then the blades come back and start slicing up Vergil, who's da-da-da-da-da. And then he just heals up from that. And, Byakuya and him go back and forth with this for a while, but that's just not getting anywhere. So Byakuya then just has a sword again, just and he drops the sword, Bankai, Senbon Sakura, Kagiyoshi. And then the million blades come, and it's a tsunami of death. And even Vergil's like, oh crap, okay. And then he goes into Devil Trigger form, which is like, all right. And then, he starts to try to plow through that. But, he can plow through it, but it's still, what's the best way to put this? Byakuya being a spiritual being who attacks evil spirits, it makes sense that he could still hurt Dante. Dante could also, though, very easily hurt Byakuya. So plowing through those million blades might not be the smartest move on Dante's part, despite his healing factor. And sure enough, he gets out there, and he's seriously cut up, but he's healing. Byakuya, again, just is rushing through. He's basically just condensing it. Vergil would have a tough time getting through Byakuya's offensive defense, essentially. Or defensive offense, take your pick on the term. So, Vergil's trying, but he has other techniques. He still has Yamato, which, he channels his blade, channels his energy, and does cut through all the blades because it can cut through dimensions. Byakuya senses this and does get out of the way, but he gets a serious cut on him, which nearly takes his arm right off. Vergil then comes in and gives got you, and then has his demonic energy, just funneling through. Byakuya then creates Senkei, which is all the blades, funneling around him, but then he just throws a bunch right at Vergil, as Vergil's about to strike, he gets, it's like, and then he's basically now skewering Vergil to the ground, now Vergil's pretty much pinned down is what's going on here. Now Vergil's probably strong enough to break out of this, so he's slowly shrugging out the blades. All the while, Byakuya is channeling his final attack, and then just as Dante gets the final blade out of him, the remaining blades go into attack. He's like, this is the end. And then, they charge at each other. And then, a giant ultimate attack, massive energy outburst, everything along those lines. And when the dust settles, they're both still standing. Both, however, kind of struggle a bit, and they're bleeding and collapse. But Vergil still has his healing factor, but he's now, physically, just exhausted. And now Vergil and the Byakuya are just staring at each other. It's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. It's like, I believe that's my line. And they just look at each other, and Vergil just charges at Byakuya one more time. Byakuya just snaps a finger. And just, Bakuto number, whatever it would be. The one probably where it's the chains that, grab Dante, or grab your opponent. And now, Vergil's exhausted. He still can regenerate, so it's going to be hard for Byakuya to actually kill him. But Vergil is exhausted. So now he's not running on a bit of empty gas tank here. So he can still struggle. He still has power, but it's greatly diminished. And then Byakuya, just for safe measures, also does the one where I believe it's like the 6 beams of light that come in and just pierce you in the side, just keep you immobilized. Just, does it again. Just, and then basically Byakuya says, now, what was the highest level Kido? Okay, I'm going to actually ask Google that question real quick. What was the highest level of Kido? Was the highest Kido that Byakuya knew? All right, what was the highest level, highest Kido? Oh, there we go. Kido, no, that's not what that Byakuya knew. Okay. Let's see here now. What does Byakuya's Bankai say for his Bankai? He doesn't say anything. You just say Bankai. People are just asking questions. Okay, it doesn't give me actually the high. Okay, let me go to his abilities really quick. Kido. All right. Skill knowledge of Kido. He's cast several quick spells. Up to a level 81, though it's theoretically possible he knows even higher spells. So yeah, I mean, they never actually say what the all the Kido are, but I assume he starts to prepare just the highest level Kido he has, offensive Kido, and just fires it. The strongest Kido is apparently level 99, which is basically just a giant dragon of some kind, whereas Black Coffin is level 90, and it theoretically is far more powerful, warping space and time and gravity. He fires all of his attacks at Vergil, but instead he concentrates it solely on his head because Byakuya is also a pretty good tactician. And making sure that if he's going to take out Vergil, he's taking out the brain and all that stuff. So he concentrates all his fire, his most powerful spells, right on his head, and just eventually blows Vergil's head off. And the question is, does Vergil regenerate? I have to believe taking the opponent's head off is a way to kill Dante or Vergil. So I have to believe that is a way you can actually take these guys out. So ultimately, I'm going to go with Byakuya. And the reason for going with Byakuya is, Vergil is a type of character that a Bleach character could fight. So he wouldn't be something truly unfamiliar to Byakuya. But Byakuya has a lot more versatility than Vergil does. Vergil has a lot of power, don't get me wrong, and he's very skilled. But when you break it down, skilled swordsman, Byakuya has that. He's got enhanced physicality. Byakuya has that. He's got demon energy. Byakuya has spiritual energy. He's got swords. Swords that can do some things. That are unique. Byakuya has that as well. But Byakuya also has Kido. He's also probably faster than Vergil is. He's also more than likely a better tactician. I believe he's probably a couple thousand years old. Well, no, we know Yamamoto, the old man who was the head of the 13 Court Guard Squad, was over 2,000 years old. Byakuya is probably he's probably around 1,000 years old, something like that. Soul Reapers are much longer lived than humans are. So, yeah, I got to go with Byakuya on this. His versatility, his overall skill and experience, I think just are able to give him the edge over Vergil. But Vergil could easily win with the right strike or anything like that. So, anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going with Byakuya on this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And if you agree, great. If you disagree, that's cool. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. So I think I'm going to do one other video tomorrow because I'm behind on a couple videos, like the Lantern Core videos. I didn't do another one this week. I'm technically behind on another one. So I might do that tomorrow. Again, I'm getting used to the new computer and all that. You'll have to, bear with me for a little while until I can really get things set. Until then, yeah, and it's a little hot. Until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.